Auntie Gabriella here again. Thank you so much for watching my videos and subscribing and sharing. Much love. Today we are going to talk about muffins and some new, it's not really new, I would just say it's like a healthy way to have your veggies and proteins in as well. Also, I finally got a KitchenAid mixer that I've been wanting since I was like 5, and I'm like so happy. Thanks, Mom. Aww. But honestly, I'm like so happy. I almost cried. Well, I mean, I didn't cry, but I almost did. I cried inside a lot. But okay, so anyways. So today we're going to start off with the wet ingredients, but I'm going to tell you a little bit about the ingredients. So we have 1 cup of all-purpose flour. So we're going to use the Bob's Red Mill all-purpose baking flour. And it's also gluten-free, so anyone that's allergic to gluten, this recipe will work good for you. You can use that. And then we have baking soda. I got baking soda. And you have 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. And then 1.5 teaspoons of nutmeg, and make sure you don't add any more because it's gonna be a little bit too much. And then it's 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 cup of old-fashioned oats, raisins if you like raisins, and you can also add chocolate to the muffins. And then we have walnuts, just make sure you chop them up. And then we have 6 tablespoons of unsalted butter, or you could use coconut oil. And then we have 1 teaspoon of vanilla, 3 eggs, 1 cup of zucchini, and 1 cup of carrots, and 1/2 cup of honey. If you don't have honey, you could definitely use maple syrup as well. So we're gonna start with the wet ingredients. Okay, so before we start, I need a sip of my coffee. Okay. All right, so we're gonna start with 3 eggs, and make sure it's room temperature, because when you use room temperature eggs, it's a lot easier to mix. And then the 1 teaspoon of vanilla, 6 tablespoons of unsalted butter. And if you melt it, make sure you let it cool down before you put it in the eggs, because you don't want the eggs to be cooked by the butter. So we have that in there. Also, this treat's actually really fun to use. For like wherever you're going, you can use it as a breakfast item or a snack instead of buying chips or any of that. So you have vegetables, and then you have your protein, which are the eggs and the walnuts. And also oatmeal is really good for you. So now the 1/2 cup of honey, and I'm using this acai. I don't know how to say it. If anyone knows how to pronounce it correctly, please tell me how to pronounce it. But I bought it from Whole Foods. It's a really good honey. You guys should definitely try it. And then we have honey here. So you just want to make sure all of this comes out. Okay, so now we're gonna mix it, and I'm so excited to use this machine. Just gotta make sure it locks. There we go. And then we're gonna unlock it, and then we put it down. And then we're just gonna stir it on a low temperature, and then we can move it a little bit up. Okay, so if you have a mixer, you could probably stir it for like 2 minutes or so, but not too much because you don't want to overbeat the eggs. that should be fine. All right, so now, okay, we're just gonna let this sit for now. So we're gonna do 1 cup of flour. Actually it's 2 cups of flour. And it's 1 cup of oatmeal. But before I do that, I just want to stir the flour, sorry. Okay, so we're just gonna stir it up here. And then we add the oatmeal. Here we are. And then half a teaspoon of baking soda. 1 teaspoon of salt. And make sure you use sea salt. So we're just gonna stir this in here. And then 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. Stir this up here. And then half a teaspoon of nutmeg. So you don't want to add a lot of nutmeg into the batter because nutmeg is a little bit too spicy in a sense, and it's just going to ruin the muffins. Also, oatmeal is really good for you. It like lowers your cholesterol and all that good stuff. And I love oatmeal, so I don't really have an issue eating it every day. But another thing, this actually helps you a lot with like snacking and stuff, because I feel like everyone now is always in a rush and you never have time to eat any of actual healthy stuff. So this will help a lot. And also you're gonna have zucchini and carrots in there to get your vegetables count. So now let me stir this all in. And so I don't make too much of a mess, I'm just going to scoop this in and put it in here. And I'm gonna slowly add it into the mix. And I'll just put it under stir. So you can also add chocolate into it, so you can have like a little sweetness into it. So you're actually eating healthy and having like a dessert as well. And then we're just gonna continue stirring this for about like 4 minutes or so. Okay, so now that everything is mixed in well, we're going to unlock this and we're gonna let that just fall down. But honestly, you don't need a mixer. You could literally just do the old-fashioned way and mix it with a whisk. So probably if you don't have this, you could probably use one of these. This one, it's fine. So yeah, so now we're going to bring this over here and we're going to butter this up. We have our muffin tin, and depending how big you want the muffins, it doesn't really matter what type of pan you use. So just remember to spray it a little bit. And I'm using coconut oil since everyone's using it now. Actually, no, coconut's actually really good for you. So now we're just going to spin this off. Hopefully I know how to use this. Alright, I think. There we go. Okay. So now we are going to scoop it. So you can buy one of these at Michael's. So if you want mini ones or big ones, you can use that one. So we're just going to use the big one. And we'll just pour it up here. So just make sure you preheat the oven for 350 degrees, 350 degrees. And it's going to cook about 28 minutes to 30. But it depends on what type of oven you have. Made about 12 muffins, and if sometimes you have like a little leftover of muffins there, just have a little bit of water and put it on your 2 fingers and then just go like this and it cleans it off. And another thing that I learned on Food Network when I was little, I used to watch Food Network all the time. If you know me, you know. But so usually for baking, you always want to have like a little towel under your baking sheet, and you just want to go like this. And I remember I used to do this all the time, and my mom used to yell at me because I'd make so much noise sometimes on purpose. But it wasn't because there's no purpose. There's an actual purpose behind it. So basically the reason why you do that is so the air bubbles can come out, and that when you're baking it, it doesn't like mess up the process of the muffin. So you just do that, and then you just let it sit for like 2 minutes or so it can like flow down, and then we'll pop it in the oven. Okay, so I added some chocolate to it because I don't really like chocolate, but I want chocolate in my muffins. So we're gonna add it, we're gonna pop it in the oven for about 28 minutes to 30 minutes. And you have to make sure the oven's preheated to 350. And then we'll just put it under here. Okay, so it's been about 28 minutes, and we're going to check how they came out. So usually you use a toothpick, and then you just push it in, and then if it comes out clean, it's perfect. So these came out like this. It smells really good. So we can just put them here to cool down before we eat them. And it's a cool snack. You can pack it as breakfast, lunch, any type of snack you like. I would definitely recommend, if like you're in college, I would definitely make these for when you're on the go. And you can add chocolate to them. And look how gooey it looks. And you can let them cool down for about probably like 10 minutes or so, unless you want to eat them hot. But I usually just wait a couple minutes and then I'll eat them because I don't want to burn my mouth. And there we have it. We have some healthy muffins. And it's clean.